Welcome to the Paws Perspective.
The podcast where we help dog owners feel calmer, clearer and more confident by understanding what's really going on behind their dog's behaviour.
We're Pat and Molly from Flying Paws Dog Training, and each episode we break down behaviour, training and real life challenges in a way that actually makes sense.
From puppies and adolescents, breed traits and everyday training struggles, we focus on working with your dog's instincts, not against them.
Whether you're trying to prevent problems before they start or you're feeling stuck and not sure what to do next,
you're in the right place.
So grab a coffee, clip on the lead,
and let's get into today's episode.
Hi Molly, how you going?
I'm good, how are you?
Oh, pretty good today actually. Yeah, not too bad at all. Another day, another podcast.
Yep.
What are we going to have a chat about today?
We're going to talk about why training falls apart in real life.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, I guess, why does it?
I think often people, and we see it, don't we? They come to class or they've coming for a private lesson and they feel like they've done the training.
Yep.
They feel like, their dog can sit, it might recall sometimes, all the time. They can focus, but then that's all at home.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And then you go out into the world and that's where people get confused as to why it falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose we get people say like they know it.
Yeah.
My dog knows how to sit.
Yeah.
My dog knows how to
recall.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden they're acting like they don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Never done that before.
Yep.
So I guess we're unpacking that
Mm-hmm.
a bit in this one today.
Yep.
And why it's actually not a training failure. Because I think people often get, is it fair to say frustrated?
Yeah, I think so, because like you just said, they say, well, the dog knows it. Been practicing at home, been doing all my training, and it's going great at home. But then it does seem to fall apart. So yeah,
I think we've said it on here too. I think we're really good at going. Our dog knows it, but treating it like a checklist.
Yeah,
we've done a sit, done. We
Yep.
can recall, done, and then we just expect that they know it. So if they know it, they should do it.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
They're living creatures.
Yep.
And life obviously doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
So I guess there's an expectation and reality gap,
Mm-hmm.
isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Yep.
So most of the time, people are training in controlled environments.
Which is at home, those sorts of things.
At
isn't
home,
it?
even if you come to training to a degree, like training's
yeah.
obviously a harder environment, but to a degree it should be controlled as well.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
more a controlled, distracted environment. But I suppose when we're talking about controlled environments, we're talking about the lounge room, the backyard.
Yep.
Maybe if you live in a quiet street,
Yep.
maybe out there. And the dog looks like it's responsive.
Yep.
It'll take treats.
Yep.
The cues feel reliable.
Yep.
But then another dog pops up,
Yeah.
a person walks past, a car goes past,
Noise.
something backfires.
Yep.
Unpredictability of life, and they look like they've forgotten everything.
Yeah.
Which is when you get out into the real world,
Mm-hmm.
these things we can't control.
No,
We can't control the environment. We can't control other people.
big one.
It is a big one, and it's one of the things we talk a lot about, isn't it? Because we do get a lot of people with dogs and they'll go, we had a lady today, didn't we, who was saying, oh, like the bloke just came around the corner and he had two big dogs. She had a little dog. They scared her dog, which was just all situational and accidental.
Oh, and she couldn't see because there was a big bush there and all that sort of stuff.
But he was like, oh, you've scared the little dog. And she's like, yeah, you have.
Yeah.
But we can't, and she wasn't like blaming this guy. She was just frustrated with him. But we can't control how what that other person's going to do.
No, that's right.
In an ideal world, he would have just pulled his dogs in a bit and moved on.
Yeah,
But
so it gets pretty hard. It's a little bit like studying for a test at home. In a quiet room, you can do all that study. And then what about sitting the exam or the test in a festival, like a music festival?
Yeah.
Think about it like that. That's
like
pretty hard.
A kid trying to do a That was one ages ago. Remember, we used to say a kid doing a maths test at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like if they're excited, especially for the excited dogs, obviously there's the overwhelmed dogs, and we'll get into that. But the excited dogs, like, why would you bother?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, cool, you're fun, but look at this whole world out there.
Yeah, look at Disneyland.
So it goes both ways, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. So it's things that we need to think about. So what do we do?
Well, let's talk about trained behaviour as opposed to real world behaviour and where the differences lie.
So that can be predictable.
Yep.
We can rehearse it.
Well, that's what training is.
Well, yeah.
Training is essentially rehearsing.
Yeah, and we want to try to rehearse the good behaviours, or, in inverted commas, good behaviours. We do it in a low pressure area.
Yep.
And that can be low pressure for the dog as well as us.
Yeah.
So it's easy. And we often prompt it, don't we?
Yeah, well, again, that's what training is, isn't it? And like I was mucking around with Fox out in your kitchen a minute ago. Like you're cueing something to make something happen.
Yeah.
So you can reward it.
Yep. Which
isn't wrong. That's what training is.
It is.
But what are real world behaviours?
Well, they can be a bit more spontaneous, can't they? They can definitely be influenced by the environment. I think that's a big
hugely
one.
Influenced by the environment. And we should point out that when we talk about environment, it's everything external to the dog.
Yeah.
So it's the big picture around the dog.
Yep. Influenced by emotion. So.
And whose emotion is that?
Dog's emotion. Sometimes, though, it can be the human as well.
That's what I was going to say. Our emotions can have a big impact, positively and negatively on the dog. On dogs.
And it requires a bit of decision making, not just responding sometimes.
And I think this is the thing. And I think, so much of dog training for a long time was obedience based.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think I saw a quote the other day, actually, and I'm not going to get the quote 100% right, but it said something along the lines of like, we liked the alpha theory. Oh my God, I can't speak, so much, because it was like and the dominance, dogs trying to dominate us, because it gave us a little kick of we've got this like wild beast in our house and we're like the upper species and we're training it. But everything's changed so much for a lot of people with dogs, and they're part of the family now. And being part of the family, we want them to enjoy going on walks. We might want them to go to cafes. We might want them to come on holidays. But a lot of these things, as you said, that last bit, do require decision making.
Yep.
And the hard thing about decision making is dogs have to practice being in that situation to make decisions, whether it's set up situations or whether it's when you're just out in real life. They can't practice decision making in easy environments to a degree, because when push comes to shove, it's like, I can't think of a good analogy right now off the top of my head for a human, but if your dog's off lead at the beach, or you want your dog to be able to be off lead at the beach, they have to have good enough decision making to go, I might want to chase that bird, but I'm going to come back. I might want to go over to that dog, but I'm going to come back. And that's, to a degree, taught in the situation.
Yep.
But a controlled version of that situation, but it does need to be in real life.
Yep, that's right. Yep. So, we want them not just to respond to cues, but to make those good decisions when things are happening around them.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit difficult, but that's what we're aiming for. So what's the next sort of, I guess, core pillar
of this? We touched on it briefly, I suppose, when we were talking about obedience, but it's looking at our dog's emotional state over blind obedience. And we hear it all the time. We're only talking to someone the other day, I can't think who that was, but we hear they're naughty, they're stubborn, they know
we hear stubborn a lot.
Oh, stubborn is but they're not simply doing it for the reasons we think they are.
No.
often. They're struggling because of arousal, stress levels, excitement, uncertainty, previous experiences. And like a dog who's overwhelmed can't access what they've learned, even if they know it.
Yeah.
Because their brain has just, well, you describe it all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
The doors in their brain have shut off. We can knock, we can bang as hard as we want. They're not able to open it.
No. So, we need to keep those doors in their brain open so that we can get learning in and they can think in a situation.
I suppose some examples of this are recall failing at the beach.
Yep, which is a big one.
Most likely to a degree generalising, but overstimulation of some sort, whether that's
Seagulls.
excitement. Oh, I was more talking about the emotion.
Oh,
but
sorry.
The excitement, uncertainty.
Yep.
And we were talking about this the other day that quite often we hear, my dog doesn't leave me.
Yes.
At the beach, and they've got a great recall.
Yeah.
That can actually be, not always, we should point this out, when they're younger, that can also often be, for us, a red flag of they might not be super confident.
Yep.
Because you're the safety blanket, I'm not going to go away from you. And we've both had dogs that this fits into.
Yep.
And they were not confident dogs when you look back on them now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, when you break it down a little bit. So, that is a big one.
Loose lead walking is not going well because they're pulling.
Yep.
Again, it might be they're scanning the environment, they're alert, they're processing, they're overstimulated by smells. Pulling for the sake of pulling doesn't happen very often, but it's often how it's described.
Yeah. And sometimes it could be because they're not sure about things and want to get out of where they're at.
Yeah.
So that can be another one.
Or they could just really want to get over to
something.
A smell.
Yeah.
Might not be a person or a dog. Might be,
Yeah, so there's sort of two sides to that pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose finally the one that we hear probably the most is barking or lunging.
Yep.
They've obviously hit that point where they are over threshold. They are literally running on emotion.
Yeah, they are.
And possibly survival instinct if it's maybe more fear-based.
Yep.
But we often look at these as training. We've got to train these situations. But if we can understand the emotion first, everything else can become easier.
Yep. Spot on. Okay. So why does environments change everything?
As we said before, it's
because that's the big one.
It is. I think, as we said before, the environment is everything external to the dog. So it's not just thinking of they're at the beach or they're at the park. It's what is in those environments. But probably the biggest one is one of your favourite things to talk about, which is dogs don't generalise very well. And what does that mean?
That means they might be able to do a sit, a drop, a recall, anything like that, and they might do it at home.
Yeah.
Do it in the backyard.
Yeah.
And then you go down to the park.
Yeah.
And they don't do it. It's a new environment, so you don't just stand there and go sit, 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 because it's a new environment, so it can be a bit hard for your dog.
Why can it be hard for your dog?
Because, the environment can add pressure.
Yep.
It's got lots of changes around there, so it can be very hard in that environment for your dog.
Yep. So we're looking at there's new smells.
Yep.
There's unpredictability.
Could be another dog, another person in the distance, or close by.
Yep. Movement.
Yep.
All of those sorts of things.
Yep. So there's a lot of those sorts of things. So you have to help your dog out. You have to get the treats back out.
Yeah.
You have to, do a sit like you learnt the first time in puppy class. And then they go, oh, okay, that's the same thing as I do in the kitchen at home.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that. So
this is one of the reasons too why hand touch is one of our favourite behaviours.
Yep.
Because it's an easy one.
Yeah.
It's for most dogs. It's something that a lot of people teach
Mm-hmm.
or get taught in classes quite young. And you can use it as a bit of a barometer.
Yeah.
So, okay, we can do a touch at home. We can do a touch in the front yard. We're down the street in our walk. That one was a bit iffy. Okay, we might be starting to struggle. We're at the park or we're at the beach. We can't do one at all. Okay, we're not capable of thinking. Let's adjust what we're doing.
Yeah, and it is. It's a good scale to measure your dog where their emotions are at, how they're feeling. So yeah, it is a good one, that one.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think we need to think of new environments adding pressure.
Yeah.
We know it.
Yep.
We go, we're just at the beach or we're just down the main street or wherever. But if our dog's never been there before or hasn't been there very often, it might be too exciting. It might be too overwhelming. And then we've got the pressure, and then the pressure changes the behaviour.
Yep. So we need to think about where we're at and how often your dog's been there.
Yeah.
And how it's feeling in that environment. What can it do?
This is, I suppose, why we talk so much, isn't it, about thresholds, space, setup, because the environment influences behaviour hugely.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely does. So what should we do?
We need to change what we're doing, obviously.
Yep.
Especially like if you're here listening to this, obviously something's not gelling at the moment in your training, or it might not have in the past. So we want to focus on emotional regulation, environmental setups, decision making, and recovery, which is a huge thing that often gets missed.
And the decision making sometimes is us as well as the dog.
Yeah. And this is where it changes because most training focuses on cues, repetition, obedience.
Yep. So we've been taught to train behaviours, but not how to support our dogs through real life situations. I think that's something that's happened quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And as we said, if we teach them, and real life, we should probably haven't pointed this out up until this point either, but real life is not just dumping them in a situation, expecting them to cope.
No.
It's testing the waters in situations and having a plan for whichever way things go.
Yep, definitely. So instead of asking why our dog doesn't listen to us, what should we be asking?
Well, this is where we are introducing our real world ready framework. So instead of asking why won't my dog listen, we start looking at what's going on for my dog right now. Is the environment too much? Have I put my dog in a situation to set them up for success? And that's a really big one. If we can take a step back before we put our dog in a situation and go, okay, we're going to go to Bunnings, but it's Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, everyone's here.
Yep.
Is that the right moment to take your dog into Bunnings? Or should we wait until 9 o'clock Sunday morning when everyone might be sleeping in and go in there?
Not as many people.
Yeah.
Or something like 5 or 6 o'clock on a Sunday night. That's a good spot too. So we need to think about those sorts of things. So what's our framework set up?
So our framework's based off 4 pillars.
Yep.
Which is understanding, the setup, and confidence. So this isn't just about getting better at obedience. It's about helping your dog handle life.
Yep.
And understanding those 4 pillars to make everything work.
Yep.
And we're really excited that from next week, it will be out in the world.
Yes.
Well, next week if you're listening to this when it comes out today, but until the 27th of April, you will be able to get, if you comment on the podcast or head to one of our Facebook posts and comment, you'll be able to get a founding member discount.
Yep.
Which is very exciting.
Yep.
Which is very exciting.
It is. So we will have that ready for you, and that will be coming out.
Yeah, so that will hit the 28th of April.
Yep.
From the 30th, it will be available if you don't have a founding member discount.
Yep.
Yeah. So definitely take advantage of the founding member discount.
It'll be a little bit cheaper for you.
Yeah.
And it's pretty exciting. It's something that you started the idea with, and we've sort of run with it, and we're pretty excited about releasing it to everyone.
Yeah, we are.
Because I think it's there's a few gaps there, and this is going to pull everything together.
Yes.
So it'll help everyone.
And this, as we've said throughout all of this, the program, the framework and the program, it's not another training program. There is training in there, but a lot of it is going to be helping you to understand, empathise and plan to get the most success for your dog.
Yep. And thinking, about your dog's emotions, etc. So, it's something a little bit different, something pretty exciting. Don't forget, comment ready, and get in for it.
Yeah, so if you've ever felt like your dog knows it at home, but you step outside and it all falls apart, you are definitely not alone, and you're definitely not doing anything wrong. You've just probably seen the difference between training and real life.
Yep.
So if this sounds familiar, the Real World Ready framework is probably going to change the way you look at your dog.
Definitely.
And change the way you look at training.
Yes.
We're going to be unpacking this over a few podcast episodes.
Yep.
So
give you a bit more info.
Yeah. So this first one obviously has been on why it falls apart in real life, and why you need the Real World Ready framework in your life. But the next one, we're going to start to look at what's actually happening for your dogs in those moments, but also how to shift it. Yep.
So that'll be good.
Yes.
Awesome. It's pretty exciting, actually, really, isn't it? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, very exciting to be able to release something like this to everyone. So stay tuned, listen up, and it's very exciting.
You don't know how to finish this, do you?
No, not really. Bye for now. Don't forget to give us a 5-star review and follow us so we can get out there to more people, especially with the Real World Ready framework, and make it more accessible to people.
Yep. We will see you for more Real World Ready in the next one.
See you then.